All right, today we are working on day 5. In your notes, this will say section 3.5, day 1. We're just jumping right into the example. So does everyone know in their packets where we're at? Everybody good? Day 4 was the review day. Yes. Review days count as days. Any day but a quiz or a test day I count as a day. So like yesterday didn't count because you didn't have a homework assignment. But I use the days to number the homework assignments. So your day 4 assignment was that review where you had the answer key. This is the day 5 assignment is coming. So the notes that go along with the day 5 assignment are these guys. There's a spot for the goal. So go ahead and write this down. The goal is we have to get all variable terms on one side of the equation. We did like a sprinkling of this in some of the consecutive integer problems where you ended up with x's on both sides. But today we're really going to hit it hard. We'll work on it again on Monday. That's why it said day 1. We're going to do some more with this when I see you after the weekend. Any questions before we get going with examples? So, part A, we have 20 plus 7x equals 9x. I always say pick on the little guy, okay? So which one's smaller? 7x. So we are going to move this entire term to the right side of the equal sign. The way we do that is to subtract it. Now, you subtract like terms. And you subtract it one time from each side of the equal sign. Every year I see someone try to do 20 minus 7 and say like 13 or something crazy like that. Once from the left where you see the x's, once from the right where you see the x's. Okay, they have to be like terms. So that is going to leave us with 20 equals 9x minus 7x is 2x. Any questions so far? From here, we're going to divide both sides by 2. That leaves us with 10 equals x, but we would write it as x equals 10. What are your questions? All right, here's B. All right, any ideas? Yes, ma'am? Yeah, I want to move the 6t. It's negative. We move a negative term by adding it. So I'm going to add 6t to both sides. That will make the t's on the right side go away, and I'll have all of the t's on the left side. 4t plus 6t equals 10t, and then I just drop the 50. All right. The last step, divide. What does t equal? Yes, sir.
5.
Very good. Any questions? Okay. Anyone have an idea?
No.
Yes.
And 8/5.
Yes, we are going to add 8/5 to both sides of the equal sign. These have like terms already. So 3/5 x plus 8/5 x gives me 11/5 x. And then on the right side, we just have this 4 that's kind of tucked up in here. Drops down. Yes?
Multiply by 5 light.
Yes. A lot of you struggled with this on the quiz more than I was expecting. When you're getting rid of those fractions and you're using multiplication, you multiply both sides by the reciprocal. All right, so on the left, the 5s are gone, the 11s are gone. We're left with just 1x. On the right, we multiply the 4 and the 5, we get 20 over 11. Good. Should I make this 1 and 9/11ths? No. Should I make it a decimal? No. A lot of you struggled with that on the quiz. I haven't taken points off yet, but I'm going to need to start because way too many people are giving their answers as mixed numbers or decimals, okay? Leave them improper. You're just doing more work and you're making grading harder. Both of those are not good. Questions? All right, you can see we're kicking it up a little bit. What do you think we should do?
First distribute the 4.
Yeah, we have to distribute that 4. So I'm going to do 4 times r, that's 4r. And 4 times negative 9 is negative or minus 36. Keep the plus 2. And then the right side didn't change. This was another common mistake I saw. People, it's very common to just add these when you see the plus sign and make it like 4r minus 38. I saw that a lot on the quiz as well, okay? You can't do that because the 36 and the 2 have different signs. So what you have to do is subtract the numbers and keep the sign of the larger number. So what would you actually have here? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it's going to be minus 34. Okay, you find the difference and keep the sign of the larger one. So that gives us 4r minus 34 equals 12r plus 14. Who should I pick on? Yes.
You can subtract the 14 and put that on to and subtract it from negative 34.
What else can I do?
You can also put the 4r and subtract it by 12r.
Yes, those are both things I need to do. I like to tackle the variables first. If you did it the way she just said, to subtract the 14 and then subtract the 4r, you'll end up in the same spot. I'm just in the habit of taking care of the variables first. It makes me feel a little more comfortable. So I'm going to get rid of the 4r by subtracting 4r from both sides. Then I'm going to subtract the 14. But again, if you did it in a slightly different order, you'll end up right here with us, right? If you did it correctly, kept your sign straight. From here, what do I do? Divide by 8. That gives me negative 6 equals r, or I always write the r in the front. R equals negative 6. Who has questions? All right, here's E. You can see we're kicking it up a little bit. All right, so 3 times the quantity x plus 2 equals 2 times the quantity x plus 1 minus 7. Yes, ma'am. Tell me what you did. Step by. You can walk us through the whole problem, but tell me what you did. Distribute the 3 and the 2. Good.
And then I combine the 2 and the 2 minus 7.
Okay, so like terms on the right side.
And then you subtract 2x.
Okay, pick on the little guy. We're going to move the 2. So subtract 2x. 3x minus 2x is what? X. which is perfect.
And
Subtract 6. How'd everybody else do on this one? Not well? Where'd you get stuck? Nobody had any issues? All right, you sure? Did anyone write like divide by 1, divide by 1? If you did that, you're definitely still on the right track. Just kind of a little extra step that you didn't need to do. Other than that, you guys are good? Make sure you're asking. I'm just taking your word for it. Oh, nice. Bodyguard. I love a good bodyguard problem. You guys know that movie from the 80s called The Bodyguard? And they sing that song. We should totally listen to that song every time a bodyguard problem comes up. I'm not going to sing it, but maybe we'll watch the YouTube video later. What? Yes! You want to get rid of that big dividing by 4 on the left side. You got to get through the bodyguard. You want to get up top where the action's at, okay? So we are going to multiply both sides by 4. That leaves me with 3 minus 2x equals 20x. Yes, I got to get my x's together, so I'm going to add 2x to both sides. So 3 equals 22x. Then what? Yes.
Take 3 divided by 22 to get 0.126.
Whoa! Absolutely not. You just leave it. You don't need to type it in. I don't want those decimals. I want the fraction. Don't mess with the rounding. Don't mess with the calculator. Leave it 3 over 22. Questions? How do we start every word problem like this? Yes, sir, in the front.
Let x equal number.
Yes, we need to define our variable using a let statement. So I'm going to let n equal the number that I'm talking about. Now, I always like to find out where my equal sign's going to be. So find the number that is 32 less than 3 times the number. So it kind of looks like I'm going to have like a less than part, right? An is less than part. It's like a subtracting side and a 3 times the number side. Does anyone think they have it? Yes, sir, in the front.
3x minus 32 equals x.
Find the number that is 32 less than 3 times the number. Does anyone have a different one? I don't think I fully agree. Yes.
N equals 3x minus 8.
Does anyone have a different one? Yes, ma'am.
Did you do something like make another one statement?
3 and minus 32.
Everyone keeps saying the same thing. Is that what you guys said? Okay, good. Yes. Sorry. I was misunderstanding. I thought you guys had it backwards. You guys were right. So find the number that is 32 less than 3 times the number. Okay? So the number is, so n is 32 less than 3 times the number. Everyone agree with what I've got here? Yes. We good? Okay, now what? This is where it gets a little tricky. Because normally I would say let's pick on the little guy, but if I subtract n from both sides, what will I have over here? Nothing. You don't really ever want to do nothing when you're solving an equation unless you have like n squareds, and we'll get into that later on this year. But when you have just one variable and no exponents, you don't really want to get nothing on one side of the equal sign. So what do you think we should do? Pick on the big guy this time. Oh, never mind. They're doing it the hard way. I'm going to show you the other way. I don't like this way. Okay, that is not how I would do it. I am sorry. This PowerPoint is just not cooperating. So n equals 3n minus 32. I would pick on the big guy because it's less steps. So if you subtract 3n from both sides, you get negative 2n equals negative 32. And look how many less steps I used. Okay? I did it in 2 less steps than the slides did it in. Okay? Either way works, and either way gives us the same answer. I know. What are your questions on this one? We good? I believe this is our final example of the day, which gives you plenty of time to get the homework at least partially done before the weekend, which is nice. All right, this is one where I can already tell that I would have some issues on. And the big issue here would be this negative sign right here. What do you think people do that's incorrect? They forget to distribute this guy. This is part of the term that has the 5 in it, okay? You have to distribute them together. Negative 5 being distributed, okay? So once we distribute, this is where we should be. I did 3 times n, I got 3n. I did 3 times minus 2, I got minus 6. Still have the minus 1. Drop my equals, the 2 didn't change. Distribute that negative 5. Minus 5n minus 25. Yes.
Would you combine the negative 6 and the negative 1?
Yeah.
2 and the negative 25?
Very good. I would get all your like terms on both sides together in the same step. So negative 6 minus 1 is negative 7. And then we have positive 2, but back here we have a minus 25. So that's going to be negative 23. Now you can start collecting your n's. Where should we get those? Yes, sir.
Add 5n.
Yeah, add 5n to both sides. That gives you 8n minus 7 equals negative 23. Now what? Somebody else. He's doing all the hard work for you. Yes?
Add 7 to both sides.
Very good. Final step. I know you know this. You just took a quiz over it. Yep. Divide by 8. Good. What questions do you guys have for today? All right. What did we learn? Yes.
Solving equations with variables on both sides.
Perfect. Solving equations with variables on both sides. Perfect. Any questions before I pass out the homework?